All right, so I have a viewer question. Jeanne from 50 Glam, 50-ish Glam. I'm gonna put the link down so you could find her channel as well. She posted a question in my last video about water. And I think water is such an important topic that I really do want to get to this question. So she says that she goes to work with a copper container of water, 32 ounces, and she doesn't get through it. So if you go through the last video, which I strongly encourage you to as well, because I do cover the formula of water, which I'm just gonna rehash here. Half your body weight in ounces is the ideal formula, because 8 glasses does not apply correctly across the board. If you're 7'2", if you're 5'2", you can't just say everyone drinks the same amount. So my amount, I'm gonna use myself as an example, and I'm gonna use the regular work schedule of 8 hours as an example to show you how I calculate my amount. Now, if you saw the previous video, I said that I don't do it anymore. I don't measure how much I drink anymore, because I've been doing this for over 10 years. I've gotten into the habit. Previous videos I talk about working habits into your life. So to get into a habit, at 21 days roughly is what it takes to work a habit into your life. And it takes about 90 days to make it a part of you, as in it is just who you are. So, I mean, if we're gonna use an example, might not be the best example, but let's say if you're learning how to drive, if you didn't know how to drive at all, if you give yourself 21 days, you could probably be competent enough, but it's still not going to be subconscious. So if you go for that DMV exam, there's a chance you might not perform as well, depending on traffic, depending on how nervous you are with the examiner, right? But if you hit the 90-day, if you actually drove 90 days straight, I could almost guarantee you it becomes so honed in. It becomes a part of you. So you are, obviously you're gonna get better with time anyway, but I think it's overall, it gets the gist across of what habits are and how important they are. So I also encourage you to just read up on the subject. I think it's such a important aspect. Also, knowing what I know from hypnotherapy, your subconscious makes up at least 88%. There are some sources that would say more, as far as 99% of your mind is subconscious. What I learned is the classical approach of hypnotherapy, an understanding of the subconscious mind, and that's 88%. That's a lot. So the more you could learn, the more you could have control over your life. Because otherwise your subconscious is running you no matter how good your intention is. All right, so with no further ado, we're just going to get to the concept of using my body weight of 185 pounds as an example and the average work week. Now, something I do every night is I set this bad boy here by my bedside. This is my morning consumption. I wake up. Before I could do anything, this is being guzzled down. It's what I do. It's been working fine. This is a 20-ounce bottle, so I knock out 20 ounces right off the gate. So, and then well, we'll get to the other later. All right, so 185, that's divided by 2. So we're dealing with 92.5 ounces a day is what I'm shooting for. So I already knocked out 20 ounces just upon waking. And then when I'm on the road to work, I refill that bottle and I drink it. I usually go through half of it, so it's 10 ounces. So on my way to work, that's another 10 ounces out of the way, totaling up to 30 ounces total. So I wake up 20, I drive to work 10, we've knocked out 30 out of 92.5 ounces. Now, your average work week for this example is 8 hours. That's the average American working week, though some will beg to differ. But for the sake of example. So the goal for that would be 8 ounces for every hour at work. So you set a reminder on your phone. Just do it. Have a glass. You could have a measuring cup, but really 8 ounces is just a cup of water. So have a cup of water every hour. So by the end of the 8 hours, you're dealing with 48 ounces. You've knocked more than that 32-ounce bottle out of the way, which is awesome, because now you're further than you've ever been. So now crunching the numbers again based on my weight and my intake. So 48 ounces plus 30 ounces, we've knocked out 78 ounces out of the 92.5. Not bad, not bad. We're inching ever so closer to fulfilling the requirement, right? So I'll say take a glass of water or a cup of water just as you leave work or on your way from work to home. For me, my commute is long. It's an LA commute, so we're dealing less than an hour. So if you take in another glass, another cup on your way, that's 8 ounces. So you're left with the last 8 ounces, and you're even exceeding the requirement. So my requirement, like I said, was 92.5. If you do this, it'll be 94.5. So you take 8 ounces. So you take a cup of water with you on the way home, and then you're left 8 ounces before bed. Now, one thing I really want to hammer, the 2-hour cutoff. I have a small bladder, admittedly, so that means I need to have a cutoff period 2-3 hours. If I don't, I wake up in the middle of the night, I go to the bathroom. I don't want that interruption. And hopefully you don't want to either. So, but some of you could do really well. I just can't. So I'm just giving that advice based on my own experience. That 2-hour cutoff point just before you go to bed. And then you just pound that last 8 ounces of water. So this goes with me to bed. This is actually more than 8. This is 13 ounces. So I just drink a little more than half of it, depending on how thirsty I am. So again, I knock out that last 8 ounces. I fulfill the requirement. But this is me also being generous. I actually drink this much while I'm at the gym. That's 40 ounces because you have to hydrate while you're working out. So most days of the week I work out. Most of the days I'm already knocking out 40 ounces. Now, just a word of warning, word of caution. Most of you are gonna are gonna go to the bathroom more than you have been if you start doing this right away. You just have to remember that the bladder is a muscle. So it is gonna adapt over time. But in the beginning, you are gonna frequent the bathroom a little bit more. It is an inconvenience, but at the end of the day, in the long term, if you're thinking of the benefit it's going to pay you in dividends over the years to come for the rest of your life, it's a very small price to pay. So hopefully that helped out. Just crunch the numbers. For some of you, you're just going to have to plan it. If you're not natural, just water drinkers, water guzzlers, the truth of the matter is you just have to set reminders. You have to measure, just like I talked with diet before. You know, you have to measure. You're going to have to do certain things if you want to get to the next step in your life, because your health determines your life. So putting in the effort, putting in the time, it all pays off. All right. So with no further ado, use your finger bone, press the like button, press the subscribe button, and send and share this video with all your friends, with all your enemies, and everyone in between.